Well, keeping our focus on this security challenge that we do have in the country, and how do we sort all of this out? Well, we've got Reverend Laddie Thompson here with us. He's a strategic security thinker. Thank you for coming on again this morning.
The pleasure is mine.
Well, yesterday many were somewhat shocked when they read that headline that the DSS presented some reports to the president saying that Islamic states in West Africa are operating in North Central and some other states. What was your reaction when you heard that?
Well, frankly speaking, my reaction was one of wondering why we are surprised. I've been on Channels TV for 10 years, if not more, and with the media in Nigeria talking about the fact that there's a displacement sequence going on in this country, and that what is happening to Nigeria is a local phase of a global problem. And the greatest noise that we've made for the past, 18 years, really, because this is 2018, we started making noise about 2000 about this problem, was the fact that I keep pointing out that a doctor who refuses to diagnose a problem accurately will continue to treat it wrongly until his patient dies. So the point is, I'm thoroughly unimpressed. Families are crying, people have died. What is working against Nigeria today is so well thought out that it understands how you're going to mourn, knows the noise you're going to make, gauges your reactions, and the tentacles that work with it are still at work anyway. So I can tell you something that after we finish with Benue and certain things are put into place, Ilorin should get ready.
Why did you say so?
Because I said to them in Plateau State some years ago, while we were working with Plateau, advising them, trying to minimize the damage, putting in damage controls, explaining to them. I remember I had a problem then that some people understood thoroughly what was going on in Plateau. Some of the people there refused to accept that it was a local phase of a global problem. The intelligence behind these things is global. The templates are supplied. So while we called Plateau State the final frontier, we were hoping that we could, put a stop to this thing in Plateau State. But the truth is, we couldn't go through with all the things we were meant to do in Plateau. So we had begun to tell them in Plateau that, oh, you are talking about Plateau State, they are moving to the other parts of the Middle Belt, and Benue should get ready. Makurdi, of course, they started their rumors. They say Mongo Park discovered Nigeria. Somebody says Makurdi is Mekudi. And, we know these things. Why should the nation be surprised? Why are we getting beaten by something that shouldn't be making this much progress?
What makes Ilorin attractive?
No, it's just the next in line.
Why do you say it's the next in line?
Oh, because this thing started long ago. If we want to look at it by geopolitical zones, one by one, it has tidied up most of Nigeria before it even moved to Plateau. What happened in Plateau was because the fact of the composition of Plateau and the kind of governor that Plateau had was the reason why it became more marked. Normally, this thing has been moving with stealth. I would like to remember some conversations I had some years ago. I don't even know, I haven't kept in touch with him. Bishop Kevin Aji, in Sokoto then. I remember visiting him. And we looked at Zamfara, we looked at Dutse, Gombe, we looked at what was happening left, right, and center. This thing has been on for a long time. Even North Central, look at Kaduna State. The intelligence behind it is very patient. It understands Nigeria very well.
Okay, Dr. Thompson, why does it look like in Nigeria the coloration is somewhat political or ethnic? Why do we tend to look at this thing, which you say is global, from this side of religion or ethnicity?
Well, it's a shame. First of all, let me say to you that all over the whole world, Nigeria is the one that has the most vicious expression of this global threat. For the simple fact that I can tell you something that I remember after 9/11, a lot of countries of the world began to change their thinking quickly. Everybody realized that there was a new kind of war. And it wasn't the conventional war of those days, but it was actually a war that is an ideology masked by a theology, lethal, and it usually destroys nations from within. It was actually a global resurgence of what they call Islamism. Now, don't mistake it for Islam now. It's actually Islamism, and there's a reason why it's called that. Many nations of the world have traced its intelligence, traced its roots, studied its modus operandi, and have been taking steps quietly on how to respond to it. Unfortunately, in the Nigerian case, we have a peculiarity. The peculiarity we have in the Nigerian case is that we have certain fault lines that were built into our foundation when the divide and rule principles were applied. And one of them is religion, another is politics. Now, we may think we are brilliant in Nigeria, but what is happening to us, the way we do religion, the way we do politics, is predictable. It can be read. So why do people say it's political? You are dealing with a hydra, if I want to describe how this thing works. The noise we're making right now is just on the militant arm. It has about 7 heads or 8 heads. It has a head in education. It has a head in governance. It has a head in politics. It has a head in security. Now, what you're dealing with, it has a head in media as well. So what you're seeing right now is that once you strike out at one of its heads, all the other heads just move out and snuff life out of you. They allow you to make your noise, but you are dealing with an intelligence beyond. The mistake Nigeria is making is that this is not something the military can solve.
I'm curious because the DIG operations has come out to say it's perhaps a little too early to say if ISWA is operating in Nigeria, but this is a DSS report. Does it suggest to you that that level of coherence
don't bother to go there. Go back and look at white papers all over northern Nigeria. What people used to call religious disturbances in those days were not religious disturbances. One of the ones that made it very plain is the one you need to go back to in Plateau State, the Nikitobi report. Go back and study the Nikitobi report. The Commissioner of Police there was, in fact, complicit, obviously, because by the time they listened to all the reports, the Nikitobi panel actually recommended that the Commissioner of Police, who was in Plateau State at that time, should be dismissed with ignominy. Now, the truth is that the same man ended up rising to become the IG of police in Nigeria. So you come and tell me if you can join the dots, and I don't think you need to be brilliant to join those dots, for you not to realize that this thing operates by penetrating institutions. So don't think that all this noise that we are making right now, a lot of Nigerian politicians are blinded by politics. They cannot see beyond 2019. They are part of our problem right now.